Welcome to our tutorial. This video will demonstrate the use of the latency feature in SaVoir. Latency is the time that passes between the sensing data take and the downlink to a ground station. Let's begin by imagining that we want to make a map of an area around Egypt. So let's zoom in a little bit on our map of the world, go to the Area of Interest tab here, choose a circle, and make my area over Egypt. Now let's say that we want to choose a sensor from our satellites pane here. And let's say that we want to work with Landsat 8 sensor, the operational land imager panchromatic sensor today. So now I have this acquisition here, and I would like to downlink it to a particular ground station. The ground station can be anywhere in the world. Let's take one from the antennas pane here. Let's say Ecuador, Cotopaxi. On the map, we can now view both things: the data take over Egypt and the antenna here, as you can see. Now we want to measure the latency, which is to say the time it takes between the sensing and the downlink. Since the antenna was selected after the acquisition was obtained, we hit the refresh button to recalculate the acquisition information related to the antenna. The latency can be seen very simply by going on the Gantt display. And as you can see, we have, for this time period, an acquisition here. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit. And if I right-click when positioned with my cursor over the acquisition, select the details, I'm given a pop-up window here with swath information. Clicking on the third tab, Swath Performance, I am shown a whole series of information, and I can see that Ecuador Cotopaxi is listed here as the next possible downlink antenna. The downlink latency is shown in seconds, but if I were to change the units to hours, minutes, and seconds, I can see that it takes roughly 6.5 hours between the acquisition and the downlink. I could view this even better by going on the Visibilities menu. So first closing my pop-up, going on the Visibilities, and clicking Antenna to Satellite, at which point I get my report chart, and going back to the Gantt, I see that the acquisition is still here. And if I zoom in on it again a little bit, I can see that it is on orbit 1555, whilst the first pass over Cotopaxi is in orbit 1559. Here we can confirm the latency calculation by using the time measure tool. The time measure tool is here, and if I click on it and then I place my cursor at the start of the acquisition and I go all the way to the end here, I see that it is roughly the 6.5 hours that we said before. We can see the details again here. If I click on the acquisition, I'm given again the time as I was before. We can also view all this on the report view. So closing my pop-up again, going back to the report, I can turn on the display of the downlink latency column from here. I would then go all the way down to select the downlink latency. Unfortunately, it's off screen, so you're not able to view this, but I just clicked on downlink latency, at which point I obtain the column here. And as you can see, the latency is of 23,927 seconds roughly. Now switching back to the Gantt, I can see a nice feature, which is when the acquisition is shown together with the antenna visibility. I right-click when positioned with my cursor over the sensor, and I choose the latency option here, at which point this will show me a chart giving me the next possible downlink, and the latency times are given as 398.80 minutes. To see this visually, I can do a split window display by right-clicking when positioned over the Gantt tab with my mouse, with my cursor, and selecting New Horizontal Tab Group. I then go to the map view here, and at this point, if I select the Hot Track feature, when I then place my cursor here, I can see the Landsat 8 satellite sensing over Egypt first, and then much later over Cotopaxi, as you can see. Okay. Of course, this analysis applies also to multiple antennas. So if I were to select other ground stations, so again from the antennas pane, let's say that I want to work with all three of the Australia antennas, the two Brazil and the Canada Gatineau. I'm then going to select all of these together by rubber banding, like this. Then I'm going to right click here and select the visible option, at which point they will all appear on my map. And then I click on Antenna to Satellite again from the Visibilities menu. At this point, I would obtain many other downlink opportunities for that acquisition, as you can see. I can show the latency plot once again by right-clicking when positioned over the Ollie panchromatic, selecting latency, which again unfortunately was off the screen, and as you can see, this is reduced to 143 minutes now, downlinking to the Hobart antenna. As you can see here. So that is all regarding latency in SaVoir. Thank you for your attention.